Hello and welcome to a battle between Das Imperium, which is of course the Empire led by Consul of Rome, up against Dogmeat in charge of the Greenskins. So this is going to be a community cast sent in by Consul of Rome himself, and if you've seen many of my tournaments you will know who he is. So he's gone for a very interesting build here, which I really like to highlight. So for the front line, he's gone for a flank of spearmen with shields on either side and great swords in the middle. Quite an unusual pick, but I feel this is probably to try and counteract any black orcs that you kind of quite often expect in this type of matchup. But what's really cool is in the very front line, he's brought a Helblaster Volley gun, something we see basically not at all, apart from unless it is the Black Lines, which is the regiment around a little cart, which gives them a bit of added maneuverability. As these guys are fairly short range for an artillery piece, but we'll have to see how they do. Now, guarding his flanks in the second row are going to be some more spearmen with shields, just a decent unit for holding the line. And he's going to have some handgunners and the regiment round silver bullets in the back. Really expecting some Black Orcs or more heavily armoured foes, maybe an Arachnarok spider or two. These guys will be able to tear them apart if left unimpeded. But of course, Greenskins very good again on top of that back line. Now, in the very back here, he has a unit of the absolute utmost fanatics of Sigma. These guys are unbreakable, they hold the line, and they're quite like them here, being used as a backline unit just to hold off any skirmishes. Of course, they won't break. Now, he's done something I also really like here, which is keep his 3 units of Empire Knights, 1, 2, and 3, in reserve a little bit. Allows you to counter the opponent. You see a lot of people immediately pushing them up the flanks, which kind of loses a little bit of their tactical awareness. If you keep them far back like this, you can still push forward. Of course, they're cav there very fast. You can also use them to deal with any backline harass and kind of counter your opponent. Now, for his leadership, he has gone for a Jade Wizard of Life. We can see he has brought Earth, Blood, and Regrowth, so mainly just for the healing. And in the front, he does have Karl Franz on foot, which you often don't see him on foot, normally on a mount or his big death claw, but you know, he's still looking gangster. He's got his big hammer and his little cross there. He's going to be doing his best for Sigma, and it looks like he has just bought the bare basic naked Karl Franz, so none of his special abilities. Now, he also has a Warrior Priest. Warrior Priest a lot more kind of common now. They've got buffed. I think they've some of their abilities have changed slightly, and they've got a bit of a cost reduction. This one has brought Shield of Faith, Soulfire, and Hammer of Sigma. So he's a pretty decent lad, helping out that front line, really helping these great swords, get some good value. And up front, we do have a unit of Pistoliers. I'm just going to pause the battle now, as it looks like it has already got underway. Now, his opponent's build, Dogmeat's Greenskins, has gone for a very, very interesting build. So his army is split into 3 components. So component 1 is 2 Goblin Rock Lobbers up at the front here, which can do some decent damage to those great swords. And they're protected by 2 units of Nasty Skulkers. So trying to bait in some cav here. The cav come in, don't expect the Nasty Skulkers. They pop their smoke bomb and then just start hamstringing all those horses. But luckily for Consul Rome, he does have Pistoliers, so he should be able to spot them. He also has the Broken Tusk Mob, which are anti-large, pretty decent unit of cav, should deal with Empire Knights fairly handily in the back, with another unit of Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Now, his second component is a sneaky little vanguard in the back, composed of the Moon Howlers, Goblin Wolf Riders, and the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, trying to get some nasty sneakiness. And then joining them is another 1 unit, of Forest Goblin Spider Riders and 1 unit of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. But his main bulk of his army is really odd over here. It is just a horde of dirty little Night Goblins. So we have Night Goblins mixed in with Night Goblin Archers. I believe the Rusty Arrows in here. We have a Night Goblin Shaman and Snarsnick. So they're going to be popping, I assume. Let's see, Night Goblin Shaman, he has Madcap Mushrooms, Wand of Jet, here we go, Night Shroud, making everything around him have Stalk and Unspotable. He's also got Itchy Nuisance, which is quite a good ability overall, and Vindictive Glare, and Snarsnick, of course, has Tricksy Traps, I assume. Snarsnick's product, there we go, Tricksy Traps, also making everything around him unspotable and a little bit of a speed boost. Doesn't last for too long though. Plus Spite of the Bad Moon and of course War. So this is going to be a big invisible blob looking to get a really good engagement while these rock lobbers do the damage and try and bait in some calves. So let's see if it works out. So Pistoliers instantly managed to pop on top of this Goblin Rock Lobber, and unfortunately here for the Greenskins, these Nasty Skulkers aren't going to be able to do anything about this. If this was Empire Knights who come crashing in, then of course Nasty Skulkers would merely smoke bomb them and destroy them, but these Pistoliers are going to get fantastic value blitzing in here, and you can see they've already destroyed one of the Rock Lobbers. The other one is taking a massive blast from that Helblaster Volley cannon, and there's not too much it can do. It can't exchange fire back, so it's just going to try and pick off some great swords while it can. In the back line, we can see these Empire Knights being used just to shuffle out these Night Goblin Squig Herds and the Moon Howlers and ensure they can't get into the back line. So very good play overall so far. Helblaster Volley gun making short work of the Goblin Rock Lobber. It looks like it's already down to just one. Oh no, it's still got two. Those cannons firing, but it is starting to rout and run away, and the second one is already wavering. Now let's see where the big Goblin Blob is. So it looks like the Night Goblin Shaman did some overcast the Night Shroud, took a little bit of damage. This big invisible blob is going to move to this very juicy flank, should be able to hop on top of those handgunners quite quickly, and we can see this is where all the cav is coming in from as well. In the front line, however, these pistolers, if I was them, I would... Actually, no, you never know. Nasty Skull, because could be quite dangerous and could be nearby, so shooting is probably a safer option than charging in here. And they're making mincemeat of these Goblin Rock Lobbers, which is now down to just one piece of siege equipment. So those Nasty Circles are going to have to push forward, and these Broken Tusk Mobs and Forest Spider Riders really needed to be... kind of just pushing out the pistolers and ensuring they couldn't just shoot with free will onto these rock lobbers. But of course, trying to micro all things at once is very, very tricky. So Empire Knights getting a little bit overextended here. If this big blob just turned around and charged, they'd probably be able to bring them down fairly quickly. And in come the massive, filthy hordes of Night Goblins into the Empire flank, the unexpected Empire. And let's get a nice little slow-mo charge as these horrible just waves and waves of goblins who aren't chevroned up, so they are just the basic little fellas, but they do decent enough up against spearmen, may struggle when they come to the great swords. In the distance, we see the pistolers falling back, doing some 360 no-scopes with their pistols on top of those nasty skulkers, and the little goblins flying in there, trying to hamstring some spearmen who looks like aren't having the best day, as some arrows are coming flying in as well. So they're going to take quite a lot of punishment, and the backline could be in trouble with all these Night Goblins flooding through towards these handgunners. And very well played as well by the Greenskins. They're getting one unit of Forest Goblin Spider Eyes up around the flank, so if Consul of Rome does reposition his whole army with, the range in the back, there's still a little bit of pressure. No war as yet, so he's not going to be getting that big nicely charge bonus, but the Night Goblins are flooding in all directions, trying to surround whatever they can, and the Broken Tusk Mob has managed to get on top of the Pistolers with an itchy nuisance. Those Pistolers are absolutely doomed for, and it looks like we do have a cav engagement. So Empire Knights charge down the hill into some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, a fight they would normally win fairly comfortably. However, it looks like there is some archer fire coming from the Night Goblins, including the Rusty Arrows, which could swing this engagement in favour of the Greenskins, but he's pulled one unit of Empire Knights round the flank, and he's getting a very tasty rear charge coming in. And it looks like the Jade Wizard is going to hop on top of these archers and try and shut them down. Franzi Boy is a little bit surrounded here, a little bit danger close, and a war is popped. These spearmen are now going to get absolutely mulched, turning these Night Goblins with that 18% charge bonus, 20 plus melee attack, plus the speed bonus. These goblins are going to turn into world builders. Now, really good play here, getting those Forest Goblin Spider Riders in the back on top of the Silver Bullets and on top of the Helblaster Volley gun, which so far is up to 131 kills. But once again, great response for the Spearman. It looks like he is going to lose the Silver Bullets, but should be able to rescue the Helblaster Volley gun. It looks like the Pistolers are rallying back as well. Let's get a nice little few close-ups here. Great Swords are going to make mincemeat of nasty Skulkers and Goblins, but there's just so many of them. Can they survive the countless hordes? Snarsnake getting in there with Noblar, just eating fools as he can, and it looks like the Broken Tusk Mob is going to keep pushing through, but they are fighting Spearmen. Isn't really the engagement they want. They want to be hopping on top of these Empire Knights, and it looks like the Empire Knights are going to give them that engagement. With their bonus versus large, the Broken Tusk Mob should make short work of them, but it looks like the Empire Knights are going to be receiving a regrowth as well, which will keep them in the fight for a long period of time. Now, over on that cav engagement is a bit of a surround on a surround here. So Empire Knights originally came with that rear charge, then some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers also came in for a rear charge, and it is just a big mush pit. I believe these Empire Knights have been healed a bit as well. It looks like it is mainly going in their favour. Oh, fantastic magic missile there coming in and almost finishing off the Jade Wizard. In fact, does completely shatter him. It's a great play there by that Night Goblin Shaman. But it looks like the backline has managed to be re-secured, although those Spearmen have gone, so you've got to be careful if these Goblin Spider Riders do come back. The handgunners are back online, blitzing in, and it looks like the more elite troops of the Empire are holding fairly comfortably here, encouraged by Franz, who has now got engaged in Snarsnake, which is a fight he definitely wants. But in come the Broken Tusk Mob, come in with that nice charge bonus, flinging everyone back, trying to save their Goblin King. Looks like the Empire Knights, just through sheer attrition and I'm sure a fair bit of healing, have managed to rout off this cav force over here. And it looks like the Moonhowlers are thinking, screw that, getting out of there and coming into this main fight, because he really needs to swing things in his favour and break this back line. But as you can see, the crossfire from the handgunners is finishing off these Forest Goblin Spider Riders who did get caught up on some Spearmen. So really impressive protection of his back line so far by Consul, even with all this pressure. Now, I haven't focused too much on the War Priest, but he's been dropping Shields of Faiths and all of his nice buffs. really making these great swords world beaters and keeping the spearmen in the fight against the massive hordes of goblins. And we're going to get a lovely rear charge coming in here from the Empire Knights onto the Broken Tusk Mob and just running down these Moon Howlers as well. Power balance now does start flooding fairly heavily in favour of the Empire, just as the new war is popped. Now that this backline is fully secure, the Empire Knights firing in, a little bit obstructed here, but they are getting some shots in, and it's all going to add up. It looks like they have managed to shatter off the Broken Tusk Mob, one of the only answers for the Empire Knights left on the field. And the Warrior Priest, and I'm assuming that is Carl Franz, 2v1 in Snarsnick. He's not going to be having the best time. He's doing his little best, hustling as little goblins do. I'm sure he's got all his schemes, but I'm sure this wasn't part of them. We've got some goblins trying to get their way to him and fight their way to him, but they are being blocked off by great swords. And that is a shatter, so a Pyrrhic victory there for the Empire and Consul of Rome. So let's go to the end stats. So very well played to both players. Really, really cool builds. I really wasn't expecting these builds. Bringing the Helblaster Volley gun and proving that it can do fantastic work as long as you can keep it firing. Using the Empire Knights defensively as well as really good micromanagement of Spearmen allowed him to protect that and his handgunners for a majority of the battlefield. Great Swords also manages to butcher all the Night Goblins. I feel if he had gone a little bit wider, to protect his back line in a bit of a different way instead of using the cav, he would have actually struggled, as the goblins would have succeeded much better. And for Dogmeat's army, I love the idea. I don't think it worked, unfortunately, quite the way he wanted to. The Pistoliers really actually only 29 kills, real big MVPs here. They managed to spot the nasty skulkers, so none of his cav fell for the trap, and it also made the rock lobbers a lot less effective. But I really like the idea of trying to bait in people with these seemingly open gobloppers. You see a little bit of cav behind them, but they're sneaky, nasty skulkers, and then the mass stalked Night Goblin army. Very, very cool idea. Unfortunately for this time, didn't work out, but I'd like to see some more replays with that type of army and see if it works. So, if anyone else does fancy having a community cast where you can send in any replay you want to me on Discord, I'll have a little look through them and just cast my favourite ones. So thank you for Consul of Rome for sending this in. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing and all that good stuff. We're growing quite quick actually, which is really nice to see. Videos just getting bigger and bigger. We do host tournaments, all that good stuff. Whatever Warhammer content you want, just let me know and we can get it cracking. So peace out guys, and I will see you next time. Stay awesome.